gave you a couple options, and I'm back and forth on this. If you would do a 10% increase for full staffing, you've got the pay ranges there. Then the second option would be not including all the eligible employees, but would just include patrol officers, detectives, and patrol sergeants. So the issues that I have with this is this. One, it could create a compression issue, depending on how you look at it. Because people are going to look at the rates of pay, the changes, and all that, if it would be proposed and if it would go through. I will say that if the second option would be done, what you would be looking at currently would be a $3.71 difference between sergeant to lieutenant. That would be a difference of $4,500 annually. You could also do this over a course of a 10-month period to give little installments over time. That way it's not such a burden. Or you could do 250% increases, depending on how you want to stipulate it, how you want to do it. But as I've said, something has to be done. This doesn't have to be the only option. There's other incentives. Please look at the information. Make an informed decision for yourself. The chief had spoke to about being competitive to similar departments like us. Because Wright City right now is $59,000 a year. Moscow Mills is they're being paid more than we are right now. Union, Washington, the Warren County Sheriff's Office, Lake St. Louis. If we went to this 10% step up, it would put us directly competitive to these agencies. I'm not talking Wentzville. I'm not talking St. Charles County. I'm not talking $73,000 a year starting out. I'm talking a family wage for us in our county. Currently, our starting salary is posted $51,000 for somebody that's making $23.63 an hour. $51,607. That average is 25 to 33% below what several surrounding agencies are starting their officers. Going to go back to this again. Pay is not the only thing. There are other incentives, things that we could actively, proactively be doing to attract and retain employees. Lastly, the city should allow officers who live within a 30-mile radius of the city limits to take their assigned patrol vehicle home on the days that they're working, while following the guidance set in the vehicle take-home policy. This would boost their morale by providing them the benefit of not needing to remove their personal equipment out of the vehicle each and every shift. It would also allow them to start their tour of duty if they're living in the city immediately and quickly be able to respond to emergencies for multiple areas within our jurisdiction versus having to go to the station, get your keys, grab your gear, load it in the vehicle, and then be ready for service. The decision solely on each of you to decide where things go from here. However, I would definitely caution that we can't afford to wait around and deliberate about it, because as we've clearly demonstrated, we're in a crisis now. We are at that critical boiling point. We have tried to say, hey, these are the warning signs, these things are coming, and instead of they're on the way and that they're coming, they are here right now. And that's what we have to address to try to retain our employees and attract new employees. Chief?
The only thing I wanted to add is just to let you know we're doing everything we can to cover shifts, and we're going to get them covered. You don't have to worry about that. The Major's going to cover some. I told him that I'd like to come out and work some midnight shifts, come in, fill in when I can there. Not a problem. The detective bureau, Lieutenant Bowen got with me. They're stepping up. They're going to help cover the street when they can. But it takes away from their duties. You know, the detectives back there, you know, we've got 4 of them, but they're busy. I mean, everything is generated on the street. Most of it goes through their office to be investigated. But they're gonna do what they can to help us out too. But like the Major said, something has to happen. We are in a crisis, and it's not something that just came upon us. We've been talking about this with you guys for a long time. Unfortunately, it's pretty scary right now. So it's up to you as our leaders to decide what direction we're going to go with the city and the police department. But we're gonna make sure the streets are covered, but it's gonna be tough. That's why I asked for 60,000, that we've saved $100,998, I believe, since being so short-handed this year on our budget since July. So I've asked, that's why on the consent agenda, I asked for $60,000 of the normal payroll to go into our overtime, because we're gonna have to still cover these streets, and these guys pay overtime to cover them. But they're getting pretty wore out. A lot of them are working a lot. So it's all in your hands.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. May I ask, how many more do you anticipate leaving?
Monday, I have one officer that's being, has a psych exam for St. Peter's PD.
At least 3 more.
At least 3. I talked to a couple today and there was, yeah.
No
And,
time,
you know,
no time frame, but
yeah, no time frame.
at least 3
But they're
more.
looking. They're looking.
I have a friend who's a detective for Lincoln County Sheriff's Department, and he was told that these other municipalities are actively calling our officers,
Absolutely.
They are.
recruiting.
You know, I gotta
Absolutely.
tell you, I've been calling Alderman County, Hannibal PD, up north. We've advertised in papers. We got with Caleb, we've got some advertising going in papers down south. We've been going out to the rural areas because that's what departments are doing now everywhere across this country, going to the rural areas, trying to draw them in, and that's what we're doing. I've sent actually emails and texts to Herman PD, and or I've sent, I can't tell you how many I've sent out. Just trying, and that's kind of what we're doing now. But we have to because cops are a premium right now because the way society is and what's happened. You know, we're paying the price for that.
Right.
And
And they see our low police force.
exactly.
The reason why I'm saying this is because yesterday morning, my wife's car was broken into. My daughter lives up the street's car was broken into. And they was pretty bold because I have a carport, I don't have a garage. My wife's car was on the carport and I fell asleep on the couch watching the Food Channel. And the last time I looked at the clock, it was 2:20. Well, looked at my camera was frozen front porch, so it never came around. But my neighbor's camera was all caught on. They came in from Main Street, walked onto my street, started hitting cars that was unlocked, and then dispersed back to Main Street. So I remember being brought in, dropped off.
And some of those are locals. We've had some videos just in the recent past that guys getting out of the car and had a handgun in hand, trying to go through cars, checking to see if they're locked. That wasn't in this area. It was in our southern part of the city, but it's here, and we're dealing with it. But like I said, we've come to you before, but something has to happen. I mean, we're in a crisis. And I'm probably one of the most optimistic guys working in the PD, but I'm a little worried. We're doing what we can now.
Just one last thing that I would add to your comment with that is I have absolutely no ill will to these agencies that are contacting officers. Especially, at first, I kind of took it personally, but all of these other agencies that we're talking about, they're actively trying to recruit, they're actively trying to retain, they're actively trying to attract people. And their cities are doing whatever they can in their power to make them look more appealing, and they're doing that. So I don't hold that personally. I understand that totally. Basically, they're wanting to secure their borders.
And I got to tell you this, the 18 officers we've lost are really good officers. So to make this board proud, that what kind of men that we can produce here and train and mentor, and look where they're going. They're not going to they're going to bigger cities, and they're making headway there. They're all going to make a statement with those departments. I'm telling you, and I'm proud of these guys. I told each one in person, hate to lose you. I don't want to lose you. They call me, I'll take care of you. On the back, they call me for rough, I'll take care of you. But I don't want to lose them. But they're doing it for their family, and I understand, and I respect them all.
With that being said, I understand why a lot of them are leaving. Better pay. You got to take care of your family. Your family comes first. I don't care what anybody says. It's one of those things that I guess you can look at it with mixed feelings. A lot of these cities come and they recruit from Troy. They do that for a reason. They're getting good officers. They're getting some of the best there are. They wouldn't come here for second, third place, go force space, they come here because they want the best. That tells me that everything's going really well until that money comes with it all. I went on a ride along, pretty calm day for the most part, and pulled over a little white Dodge minivan, tinted windows, no license plates. Couldn't see in the car at all. Officer got out, just like it was nothing. And it didn't dawn on me at first, and I'm one of those people that grew up really, fear never really entered my mind most of the time. But when he walked around the corner of that van, I started looking around the car thinking, I hope there's something that I can protect him with if something goes wrong. Because this van had a clear exit out. You know, I'm looking everything over, and it's sad to think that just a common traffic stop could be the last time you see this officer. It's like I've told Jeff many a time, there's no way I can do your guys' job. I couldn't do it. I commend you for what you do, but there's no way that I can do it.
Well, the guys on the street, they're the ones that make this city. They're the ones that make the part where it is.
And it's saddening to think that some of the board does not feel the same way. I guess it's sad that I do. My dad was a detective. My brother was a St. Louis police officer. In my own personal life, I could probably hate you guys as much as I love you. But at the same token, it's disheartening to think that the job that I left 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, I was making more money sitting on a cardboard box than the people that got to protect me. That's not right. The money's there. For those of you that don't think it's not there, I believe it's there. And I thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Okay, item M. We're going to discuss and approve a 30-day extension on the Cherry Street project. Do you want to table that till after closed session, or we can go ahead and handle it now?
We can give them an update.
Okay, all right. I'd entertain a motion to table item M till after close.
Make that motion?
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Call roll.
Alderman Jones,
Yes.
Norman,
Yes.
Dieter,
Yeah.
Duder,
Yes.
Corner,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Item N, discuss and approve warranty agreement. I'd like to ask,
We can go ahead and table this.
yeah, I'd like to table this until the March meeting, and then we can discuss it a little more in closed session. But if I get a motion, a second to table until the March meeting, please.
I'll make that motion to table till March.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Alderman Norman,
Yes.
Alderman Jones,
Yes.
Alderman Duder,
Yes.
Alderman Corner,
Yes.
Alderman Dieter.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Okay, I'll take a motion and a second to go into closed session for legal and personnel.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Alderman Corner,
Yes.
Alderman Jones,
Yes.
Alderman Duder,
Yes.
Alderman Dieter.
Yeah.
Alderman Norman,
Yes.
motion carries.
Well, thank everybody for coming tonight.